What's up, YouTube? Midnight Crawler back up in this piece, and it's that time for another Asian cinema takeout video. I got a nice stack of flicks to show you guys, and as always, if you want to see my personal rating for each film showcased in this video, check it out in the description below. All right, let's kick things off with Japanese cinema first, and we have The Booth from 2005. This is a Tartan Asia Extreme release, and this did not disappoint one bit. Now, the film starts off in the past where a radio personality commits suicide in his radio booth on air. And we fast forward to the future where we have a new radio personality who hosts a love show in this haunted booth. And his past comes back to haunt him during his broadcast, and things get a bit ghostly. Now, while the majority of the film takes place in this radio booth and production area, it's pulled off very well. It never gets dull. It keeps you guessing what's going to happen, and this dude who's such an asshole, when is he going to get his just desserts? Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Good stuff. Check it out. All right, things are going to get a bit sleazier, and we have Zoom Up, Rape Site from 1979, directed by Koyu Ohara. This is a very lovely Impulse Pictures Nekatsu Erotic Films Collection release. And yeah, man, this is a beast of a movie, a little mashup. You have one part a giallo and the second part sleaze. Now, the film opens up pretty ghastly as you have this killer who hits a woman with his vehicle. He jams a glass bottle in her orifice and stomps in her pelvic area to break this bottle inside her and leaves her for dead. We transition to an unhappy housewife played by the lovely, let me check her name out here, Irina Miyai. Yeah, she steals the show, man. She has this lover on the side, and during one of their escapades, they see something they shouldn't have seen, and it comes back to bite her in the ass later in the movie. This movie is, like I said, a little mashup of giallo and sleaze, and this did not disappoint one bit. As you see right here, this is a vanilla cover. It says Murder Site. But the reversible cover art is the uncensored, and I can't show you guys that. But yeah, definitely check this out if you're into that stuff. I dug it. All right, next up we have Orgies of Edo, directed by Taro Ishii. And this is a very beautiful era release right here. And this is an anthology of sleaze right here. Each short story getting more depraved as it progresses. The first one being a manipulative boyfriend who ends up sending his girlfriend to a brothel. Pretty messed up. The second one, it's a nympho who's into all sorts of sexy escapades with men that are not the norm in Japan, whether they be extremely hairy, very ugly, exotic. She even has two dwarves attempt to rape her in the beginning. It's very out there. The third one, it's just batshit crazy. You have this lord who gets his kicks off of tormenting women. And there is a scene where they attach torches to bulls, as you see here on the cover. And they're let loose on a gang of women dressed in red gowns. And in order for them not to get gored to death, they have to strip completely naked while the lord just completely laughs throughout the scene. It's just out there, man. But the thing about this film is that Taro Ishii just is very artistic in the way he pulls it off, man. Very, very, very cool looking scenes, man. Just lovely stuff, but depraved as well. Orgies of Edo, really dug it. Check it out. Next up, we have Female Prisoner Sigma from 2006. This is a Switchblade Pictures release, and you guys all know I am a sucker for these. Lead actress Shoko Hamada finds herself in prison in order to find out how her sister died in this prison. And in doing so, you get a bit of sleaze, jail shenanigans, and a bit of supernatural elements towards the end to make things a bit, just to make things a bit more exciting. Yeah, this one wasn't a complete dud. I did dig it, cheesy, and just exactly what you expect from a Switchblade Pictures release. Yeah, not going to be for everybody, but I collect these, so yeah, it wasn't a complete dud, like I said. Yeah, can't recommend it, guys, but I dug it. Next up, it's going to be Kamikaze Taxi from 1995, directed by Masato Harada. Now, this is a Tokyo Shock release, and this was one hell of a Yakuza drama. Really solid stuff. Running at almost 3 hours long, you will need some free time to watch this one. But for me, the time flew by as I really got invested in the two main characters. The main guy being a loose cannon Yakuza member who robs a politician of a lot of money after that politician kills his girlfriend. And now the Yakuza are after him, his own clan. And along the way, he runs into this taxi driver who has a past that slowly unfolds as the movie progresses. But you'll really get invested in this story and their adventures together. Really solid stuff. I do highly recommend this one. Next up, we have another Yakuza drama, and that's going to be Tattooed Life. From 1965, directed by Seijun Suzuki, a master of cinema. More of a period piece about two brothers that come together after the older brother is backstabbed by his own clan. And one of the members gets killed in the process. Now they're on the run. They want to escape to Manchuria. And they get swindled in the process. And the police are after them. They try to find some blue-collar work. And yeah, you follow their adventures as they try to escape the Yakuza and the police. And it all culminates to one grand finale of good Yakuza fun. I'll put it that way. Yeah, not bad, man. Definitely give this a watch if you come across it. Tattooed Life. All right, next up we have an anime, and that's going to be Appleseed Ex Machina from 2007, directed by Shinji Aramaki, co-produced by John Woo. Wow. That's what really made this anime stand out. There's a lot of woo in this film, and I mean that there's a lot of odes to John Woo action films in this. A lot of the action sequences, very wooish. You'll get a lot of bullet cases dropping to the floor during gunplay. A lot of like Chow Yun Fat action style scenes, from The Killer and like Hard Boiled. You'll get a lot of those moves. You'll see some white doves flying in the background. Yeah, it's all in here, man. John Woo gave his input, and Shinji Aramaki and the production team, they ran with it. And the animation is pretty solid too. I really dug the mech designs, the cyborg designs, and yeah, good stuff all around. Give this a watch if you're into that stuff. I dug it. Moving on, we have some South Korean cinema, and we have two entries. First one, Cello from 2005, Tartan Asia Extreme release. This is a bit of a psychological horror with a bit of ghost play thrown in the mix, where you have this woman whose past comes back to haunt her, and her family pay the cost. But you will have some twists and turns. Don't want to give anything away, really. This one you really have to watch from beginning to end to appreciate it. And it didn't disappoint. Pretty good stuff. I dug it. Check it out. Next up, Battle Jangsari from 2019. Now, don't let this lousy North American DVD cover art fool you. This is a really solid South Korean war flick, and a sequel to Operation Chromite, if I'm not mistaken, which was pretty solid as well. Now, this one is about a bunch of young cadets who haven't even passed basic training. They're thrown into the war as a diversionary kind of a regiment while the main force attacks somewhere else. So they're kind of left for dead. But they persevere, they survive, and they conquer. And yeah, man, they're thrown to the wolves, man. It's pretty messed up. Based on a true story. And some really, really good acting in this as well. Pull at your heartstrings. And a lot of war violence as well, if you're into that. Yeah, I really dug this one. Good stuff. Give this a watch. Next up, Kung Fu League from 2018. Now, don't let this cover art fool you. This is a corny and cheesy romantic comedy with the action being an afterthought. That's just my opinion. I was a bit disappointed by this, but I went with it. I turned my brain off, and you know what? It wasn't a complete loss. Now, you do have this awesome cast, as you see here on the cover. They play Master Wong, Master Cho, Ip Man, and even Chen Zhang. Yeah, who, Bruce Lee played that character in Fist of Fury, as well as Jet Li. But yeah, this illustrator, he's hopelessly in love with a character played by Medina Mehmet, who's absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, he summons these guys from the past to help him out. And they just want to go back to their timeline. But yeah, it gets really cheesy and corny, like I said. Bit of a disappointment, but I went with it. It was okay, but I really can't recommend this one, guys. Finally, guys, we have two honorable mentions. The first one being The Man from Hong Kong from 1975. Now, this is an exploitation film, but it is co-produced by Golden Harvest and Raymond Chow, starring Jimmy Wang Yu, who plays a really badass James Bond-esque character, and it's just an amazing film. Highly recommend you guys check this out if you get a chance. And finally, guys, we have The Art of Action, Martial Arts in the Movies from 2002. A really cool documentary that's narrated by Samuel L. Jackson that documents the history of Kung Fu in cinema, where it originated from, like Chinese opera, and the men and women that helped pioneer it. Some really good interviews as well. I'd say 2/3 of this doc are really solid, with the last part kind of fizzling for me as it delves into the more modern Hollywood blockbuster films. But yeah, really enjoyed this. Give it a watch if you find this out in the wild. I found this at the pawn shop. But that's going to be it, guys, for this month's Asian Cinema Takeout. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you again very soon. Peace.